This is Jesse with Hudson Communications. Here with me is Brandon.
Hi.
Today we're going to be talking about a Synology product, the DS925 Plus. Before we get into it too much, make sure you like, follow, share, and subscribe on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And for the next part of this, I'll let Brandon give a description of our experiences currently with Synology.
Yeah, totally. So we have over 100 devices out in the field at this time that we are currently managing. It can be anything from the rack stations to the DS series to the DVA series. Lots of awesome devices here, and it's cool to see Synology coming out with some new DiskStations and seeing some of the advancements that they're bringing. And there are definitely some very welcome advancements as well.
Yeah. So what of our general use cases for them now? We have general data backups, surveillance.
For sure. Yeah, data backups are one of the big ones. You can do a lot of device backups, and not only that, but you can back up files and folders, specific items. It makes it really nice just in like a worst case scenario event. Say a user wipes out their computer and you don't have any backups. This is what would fix that. You'd have all on-site storage that can be accessible through Quick Connects, through the cloud, from anywhere in the world. It's very nice, very secure. We've had good experiences with them, and this one specifically has some really cool use cases. Another use case that we have is a surveillance station. This has been a rock solid piece of software that we use for the majority of our deployments for camera and surveillance solutions. It has some amazing built-in features such as AI detection, face and vehicle license plate reading, and many, many more items. But we found it to be very rock solid when it comes to recording and making sure you have the footage that you need in any circumstance.
And the good thing with surveillance station is you can use a variety of IP cameras. Basically anything that's supported by ONVIF can be tied to that. The use case for this, a little bit different, not going to quite be going down that road. This is more towards backing up of data, which we use Active Backup for Business, which is a nice piece of software. Installs on servers, computers, VMs, whatever you need. It'll back it up, store it on this device, and then we also use C2 storage. Should take it from here, move it to the cloud, just for extra redundant backups, which is kind of nice.
And keep an eye out on our YouTube page because we're going to have a lot more coming up with regards to that, such as tutorials and basic informational videos on how to best optimize those backup schedules and just kind of general setup. So keep an eye out on our page for more info like that.
Okay. But, so I guess to get into this one specifically, we could start with what comes in the box. If you want to go over.
We got some pretty cool things in the box. As you should know, this is a dual LAN port. So it actually comes with two RJ45 cables, which is actually very nice to have. It comes with an accessory pack, the AC power cord, the AC power adapter, which we do want to see some improvements there from Synology. They're kind of stuck in the dark ages with their circular, I don't know the exact name of the device, but the power cord. So kind of want to see some more flexibility there. But what we do really like is that it does have some really cool ports, especially on this one. We get the main unit, which is really nice. It comes with all 4 drive bays that basically plug in and attach. We can go ahead and unbox this real quick, but we'll just kind of go ahead and talk about some of the features that are within this.
So the main difference between the 925 and the 923 is going to be the LAN ports themselves. On the 923, you had 2 1 gig NICs. 925, they changed that to both NICs being 2.5 gig. So that's going to increase your throughput.
It's a great upgrade.
Help with things, you have multiple devices backing up to your active backup. It'll be done a lot faster than previously.
Yes, the 2.5 gig port is a game changer for really getting super fast backups from device to device. And it's also cool that they do have 2 ports on this, which means if you want to have 2 separate networks, 2 separate VLANs coming into this device, that makes it really easy to do so. Or if you just want a simple management port, you can set that up that way as well. So you can have one on your core network and one as a management port. It makes it very simple for setting up and optimizing this for any network that you have.
Yeah, and another thing that we've done with these is you can use link aggregation, connect both these ports, and increase your throughput even more.
Yes, it's a really slick setup that they do have going.
One of the downsides of the 925 over the 923, they got rid of the 10 gig NIC. That in the 923 you could buy an expansion card, put in a 10 gig NIC, and then would have no issues if you were editing photos from the NAS, videos, streaming those to your computer. Wouldn't be an issue. Having two 2.5 gig NICs may not be an issue, but maybe on some of those higher size files may be an issue at some point.
Yep, for sure. And it also makes what's nice with this though is that you still do have those dual LAN ports, so you have a lot more flexibility. But with applications, say like Plex and backups, it really is nice for features like that. We don't do a whole lot of Plex within our setup and installs, but if you do, this would be a good solution for you. Just give a quick kind of update about pricing. The 923 and the 925 are pretty competitive, but obviously that fluctuates and it depends on if they're in stock or not, so definitely keep an eye out for the prices there, but they're pretty competitive. But if you're looking for support, and especially long support, just keep in mind that the 923 came out in 2022 and it has about 8 years left of support directly from Synology, whereas this will come with around 10 years. That's kind of their support and lifespan. So keep that in mind when you're purchasing a device like this. You want to plan for something failing possibly so you can reach out to their support and get it resolved quickly. But really, these have been rock solid systems. Any interactions that we've had with Synology have been very good, seamless. They have a great ticketing system, responsive support, and we've appreciated that. They've been able to resolve any issues that we've had in the past.
Yeah. And thankfully, out of how many Synologies do we have?
Over 100 out on the field.
So out of all of those, we've had one Synology that actually needed to be sent in for repair. And that Synology itself is being used pretty extensively for surveillance recording. And that ended up being like a power supply issue. Sent it in, got it back. Didn't have to pay shipping, anything like that. So that was very nice. We can get into the storage of this. What about the hard drives on here?
So you have four bay drives, which is pretty nice. One of the things that we don't really like to see is, of course, the drive compatibility.
They're kind of building their own ecosystem.
Yes.
They prefer you to use their hardware for now, at least.
Yeah, they've moved more from having more third-party ability to more going, hey, it's our drives and nobody else's drives, which really, that hurts not only us, but it also hurts them for sales and support of devices. When you move to having just support for your own drives, you don't have the flexibility of many other drives that are out there on the market that might be competitive with regards to pricing. You're going to be most likely paying more for a Synology branded drive as compared to, say, something like a Western Digital, which we use a lot within our installs and we still do recommend. But they're moving more towards a Toshiba based drive, which is still solid. We're kind of dabbling in that market, seeing where that will fit in with our customer base, but so far so good. It's just we'd really like to see that third-party support and compatibility come back. Honestly, this system, it's great for what it does, and that's mainly for focusing on files and storage. Anything else, like surveillance station, we typically wouldn't recommend this for home use for install for just surveillance station. It's more of a good device backup type of device. If you wanted to go surveillance, we'd recommend more of a DVA system. So
these also have an expansion unit you can get if you filled up your 4 bays and you don't feel like taking those out, moving to larger drives and migrating all your data. You can buy the expansion unit. One difference with the 925 is the actual expansion port in the back. This was a proprietary eSATA port, and now it changed over to the USB-C, which is much more common.
So just another note too, we do have, so with these 4 drive bays, they can go up to, I believe, 20 terabytes. You get also 2 NVMe SSD slots on the bottom of this device that are easily accessible, and we'll have a clip there for you. But these are really nice just to have for flexibility. It helps the system. And especially with the DSM being installed on something like that as compared to the hard drives.
The NVMEs right now are mainly used for NVMe caching. But you can use them for storage. People have done it. I've never tried it myself, but I know that it is possible.
Yeah.
So yeah, besides the drive compatibility being the issue right now, Synology has come out and said that they will add more third-party hard drives after their testing, and hopefully that's soon. A lot of people have pretty big preference of hard drives. They use Western Digital, Seagate, whatever. They may not want to use Synology drives. At the moment, you don't really have a choice. If you try to put Western Digital drives in the 925, when you go to install the DSM, it will not let you install it.
No. And there has been some third-party modifications and GitHubs, whereas we don't directly recommend that. There are some workarounds out there. However, we do recommend sticking with Synology-based drives for this so you don't run into issues, including warranty support down the road. So just keep that in mind when you're purchasing a device like this. It's a great device for what it does. It's just, those are some factors that you have to keep in mind before purchasing. So just some key takeaways and final notes on this topic and this device. From the 923 to the 925, it moved from a 1 gig to 2 2.5 gig LAN ports. We love this. This is a great setup for our networks, and we always welcome more LAN ports on these Synologies. So that's really helpful for us. We have expansions that move to the USB-C. We love to see that. We love to see the USB-C being incorporated into Synologies, and we look forward to what else they can do with that. So there's no more slot for the 10 gigabit expansion, which that does suck, and you have to really consider that when you're building out your network. And again, the elephant in the room is the drives. Drive compatibility is very restricted on this, and if that's going to be something that's a deal breaker, then you might want to look into a different solution or potential workarounds, but just ensure that it does not void your warranty. So this device is great. We're going to be using it for a customer install. It checked all of our boxes, and we look forward to implementing it soon.
Yep.
So we'll go from there. But thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube for more Hudson Communication news. Hope you enjoyed.